Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy BoogeyMan Ben here for a new episode of BoogeyMan Ben's Horror Zone, and this is part 6 of my Building a Horror Zone vlog that I'm doing every week. This one's a little bit later than I wanted to do it. I wanted to get this up earlier this week, but just haven't had the energy and just had a lot going on and just kind of low this week. And I think a lot of it is coming from the frustration of, writing this. I feel like the story or the book that I'm writing, my goal for this year is just really not coming together as much as I would like it to. It's been, frustrating at times. I feel like it's just a bunch of false starts in terms of how the chapters are coming together, and I think it's just like a lot of notes right now. So trying to put it into some type of cohesive story is just taking its toll on me, and I don't know. It's just I think it's just what anybody would face trying to take on something like this. But on the positive side, I did receive some great feedback from friends. My friend Heather, my friend Tammy. I'm still waiting for a couple people to get back to me, but just feedback on some of the questions I wanted to ask them. Some of the things I want to highlight in the book in terms of, knowing me as a kid and things like that. Also, I did go to my friend Ray. Of course, he's been here in the Horror Zone for a couple of segments that I've done. I went to his antique store last weekend, had a really nice talk with him. We actually talked for about an hour. I had to trim down the segment because some of it, didn't really pertain to where the focus of this is going. But it was a really nice dialogue that we had, and that's going to be the focus for this week. Again, and I even say it during the interview with Ray that the book is kind of a mess right now. So even back last week, it's just right now it's just all over the place, and I just haven't been as focused on it as I'd like to. Just a lot going on. It's been a rough month. Kind of low. Just how life is sometimes. But anyway, like I said, here's the segment with Ray and I just talking about us as kids, things like that, common interests. It was a lot of fun. I really had a good time, and I want to thank Ray for taking the time out of his schedule to meet with me. It was a really good day. It's a lot of fun. Hope everyone enjoys it, and here it is. We met, I was 14, you were 12. Mm-hmm. I had never been in a play before. I didn't want to do it. I still remember my mom forced me to do the community theater.
The Pinot Young Actors. Joseph and the Amazing Technique.
Yes, and I didn't want to do it because I wanted to have my summer, but she said, I want you to do something with other kids. So she kind of forced me into it. So I kind of went there begrudgingly. But I just remember I was so comfortable around. I felt like I was more comfortable off stage than on stage, and okay. I don't know if you remember very well because you were 12 and I was 14.
Well, I remember it pretty well. I have a really damn good memory.
But I just remember that the biggest problem for me on stage was that I couldn't disappear into somebody else.
Yeah.
I always felt like me. I couldn't hide. You hear about actors, seasoned actors, that they are very shy in their regular life, but on stage they're somebody else, or on screen they're somebody else.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that, and I don't know if you remember that, or do you remember my awkwardness?
I was 11 going on 12,
yeah.
and I'd been acting on stage since I was 4 years old.
So you have a little more experience.
So for me personally, I'm
like, he's a wimp.
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't think that about you because I had plenty of friends in Pinot Young Actors over the years that some did it just because it was fun, and they never expected to, be an actor when they got older. It was just what they did in the summertime.
Yeah.
Certain people that we know. Other people like Cindy,
yeah.
Like myself,
she was great.
We figured, okay, this is something I want to continue to do long after we're doing Pinellas Young Actors. I want to do it in high school. I want to do it in college. I want to do it professionally. I didn't think of you one way or the other when it came to whether or not you're going to pursue it, because it didn't matter to me.
Oh, okay.
You know, it really, because I had friends that just did it for the fun. Then I had other friends that did Pinellas Young Actors because it was kind of like training ground. But yeah, and then we didn't, hang out again until high school, your junior and senior year, and it was primarily through drama.
Yeah.
Through doing plays like Brigadoon.
Yeah, but I was always, Brigadoon, I was in the friggin' stage crew, because that's like, I remember they hated my audition because I didn't know what to sing, and I think I sang You've Lost That Loving Feeling, and I remember I thought it was just gonna clear the house, and it was horrible, and I remember walking out of the audition going, I don't think I got anything, and they stuck me in stage crew. It was fun. It was kind of fun a little bit, but it was almost like, the penalty box for not doing a good job. So it's like I was kind of upset I didn't get to really be in that play because it seemed more fun, and anything goes I thought was boring as hell. And
well, it's such an old time.
Yeah,
show,
and I had that horrible suit that I had to wear, that beige and brown checkered suit.
Could have been worse. You could have been the sailor in the all-white suit who got kicked in the face. And everybody in like the front row was mortified watching me bleed to death on stage and still dance.
I don't remember that at all. And I was in that play.
I know.
I was up on the top of the ship or what?
Well, that's because you were behind me.
I didn't see you.
So you didn't see it happen. And I guess you didn't see me backstage either.
No, I didn't. Yeah. I don't know why, but that, Jesus.
You know what? Here's the funny thing is that, I always remembered you as like just the super nicest guy, whether it was Pinellas Young Actors, Pinellas Valley High School, drama, cast parties, whatnot. But I'll tell you right now, if it weren't for the fact, especially my sophomore year, your senior year, if it weren't for the fact that, there was a 2-year disparity between the two of us, had I known that you and I shared a common love of the horror genre. I mean, me especially with the classic horror, but had I known that and had we had dialogue about that, shit, we were best friends, man.
It's true. And I think it's like I didn't talk about it a lot. Because when I was in Catholic school, you couldn't. But all my friends were buying Fangoria magazines, and we were hiding them in our bags and reading them during lunch break. But I remember I did something, we had buddies, it was a buddy system. So it was the first graders, and I was an 8th grader, and I wrote this story about a Freddy Krueger Thanksgiving and gave it to a little kid, and that was not a good thing because it went back to my teacher, and I got in deep shit for it. And I didn't make it like a violent book, but still it was a movie serial killer character. Well, and it was, and
Did he carve the turkey with the glove?
I kind of did, yeah. And then I wish I could find it because I know it's in some place in my garage somewhere. But I remember I got it back because, of course, the parents didn't want their kid having it. But at the time, I never saw it as something that was bad. Yeah. And I think that's why, even as that young kid, I saw it as like, oh, it's like a magic act. It's like it's something for the eyes and the senses. It's pretend. It's pretend. It's not real.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't take into consideration that it would upset somebody, but it did. And so after that, I kind of kept the horror stuff at bay. I kind of didn't really talk about it much in high school. I think most of my life I thought I was odd. And it's like, not that I was an odd person, but I thought people perceived me as that because of the things I was into. So, or just because I wasn't very natural. I didn't feel like I was
also
natural.
Family stuff can be taken into consideration.
Yeah,
I mean, you're impressionable, and if you got family issues and you're young and impressionable, that's gonna affect your personality a little bit.
It does, and there was abuse in my family, not physical but verbal, and I think a lot of that, you get cut down enough, you kind of go, well, maybe I am a piece of shit. It's like, you kind of...
And then you carry that into your high school.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thanks for just taking some time to sort of shoot the shit with me. And like I said, I'm just really just trying to get perspectives because the book is a mess right now. It's just like a lot of just notes.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like... And I think it's just supposed to be that way now, but like the weekly vlogs I'm doing, it's sort of really being helpful and kind of get it into an organization that I like. So every week I do like a 3-minute vlog and just say, okay, here's where I'm at right now. This is like, I've gone back to my childhood home. Yeah. I've gone and interviewed other people. I've talked about my influences. I've
Horror
talked about,
zone.
yeah, I've talked about like where it's coming from, because that's what it's about. Is pretty much that what that signifies is that's my youth, and that's my comfort, and here's why, and here's where it came from.
And all of that is supposed to go into
Yeah.
a memoir.
Yeah.
So there you
So
go.
it's like, and I don't think there's a lot of books out there about people talking about. I grew up in the heyday of when horror was becoming what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the '70s started. You know, it started before that, but I think the '70s and then the '80s really catapulted it
Yeah.
higher.
Well, there's a difference between like the classic monster movies.
Yeah, then-
and the way the genre went in the '70s.
Yeah,
when you started going like
slashers,
slasher
and then there
films,
was,
serial
like,
killers,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Anytime, man.
you're right. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. Leave some feedback down below. I really like hearing what people say about this segment. Also, check me out on social media. My links are down below. Would appreciate that. And if you like the content I'm putting out, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared. Peace.